All right. The guy. Chris Barassa self-insert. That's actually not true. But, you know, sometimes I say things, right? Just get myself mentally prepared for this.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of hot takes in this discussion.
Yes. So, originally for Wicked Slice, I had it labeled as okay. Then after, you know, talking to you, and you're talking about the crit rate, so maybe the crit rate comes down. But other than that, I think it's an okay move. It's a solid hitting move, and it executes one.
Yeah, I think this move as it is fine. It's just that it's honestly just the crit, and I get what people are gonna say.
Well, he had 20 crit in DD1, and collected Highwayman has 20 crit.
But it's like, we're not talking about like you can't move something from DD1 into DD2 as it is. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't transfer, yeah.
But honestly, now that with execution existing, I think this is honestly fine. Maybe even a bit too strong that it has execution 1 base. With double tap having it on upgrade only. But I wouldn't... like, you could argue keeping the crit as is, or maybe even lowering the crit and getting rid of execution 1 on what's it called? Have no execution at base and then execution 1 on upgrade. But I think this is... I think honestly, if you just reduce the crit from like 10 to 15 instead of 15 to 20, it would be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of feel it. Especially if it's either you remove the execution at base or you give like 2 mastered, which would be way too strong. So I think going the other way is better.
That is like execution 2 with nothing is that's just no. That's like Glint 2.0.
Yeah, better Glint. Glint got power crept by the most unlikely source. Click here. Pistol shot. I hate this move, man.
Yeah, same.
just take out all the stun mechanics from it.
Yeah, no. What?
Yeah, so
like who thought this was a good idea?
I don't know, but the thing I thought for the combo effect would just be it applies Vuln, like 1 at base, 2 at mastered, and like that's it.
Could be pretty
magic
because Dismiss Head does apply Vuln on range attacks.
Didn't even think about that. Yes, did not even think about that. Needs
like
a new animation, maybe.
I just really don't like the fact, like, you know, stuns are hard. So here, have a free stun. And the reason I say free stun, it's because, guess what? If you hit take aim, you shoot a person that's crit, you are bypassing 20% of his resistance to the stun just because of the crit token existing.
Yes. It's not like you can't get crit from other sources. Like, if take aim didn't exist, it's not like you can't find crit for this character. It's not too hard to achieve right now.
Like, you have Nautical Compass, you have the, if you just equip Sharp Shot and then get the...
Swig.
The Swig, then you just generate crit endlessly, so... Yeah. Like, why does it need to also just bypass the stun resistance as well?
Yeah. It is the best stun in the game. Does Highwayman, the damage monster, need the best stun in the game? I don't think so.
Like what we're not trying to, like, we're not just needlessly nerfing everybody. We're trying to find a balance where the character doesn't feel that it power creeps everybody else, but that he's also still very mechanically fun and damaging to the other and to the enemies in the game. That's what we're trying to just say.
Exactly.
Why not? What do you mean, why not? Highwayman has already so much stuff going for him.
One of the only stuns in the game, true.
See, take understands.
Yeah, I'd be more interested in trying, because we've already explained why it doesn't need stun. So if there's anyone that wants further explanation, they're gonna have to advocate for why it does need stun, which good luck. So yeah,
I would, honestly, Vaughn, I wouldn't mind seeing like Vaughn on the combo, because Vaughn actually, in a way, if you apply Vaughn to an enemy with this, you're setting up other damage dealers that usually go after Highwayman, especially with Sharp Shot, because you just go so fast with Sharp Shot.
yeah. And as far as like just looking at this move, it already does some solid damage, and in terms of like gameplay, it's another one of those things that feels like more engaging, where you have someone set up a combo, Highwayman hits it for a vuln, and then someone else hits that. Like you're planning your moves in advance, and 3 people are basically making a chain on a target. Like that kind of stuff feels fun. And in terms of or I should say, whereas stun is for a move like this is not fun or interactive. It's just like, oh, I already hit really hard, between buffs and paths and stuff like that. May as well get a free stun on top of it. That's when it starts to feel ridiculous. And like this move already is a stronger Throne Dagger, so it's like, why does it need all the other stuff? I mean, the dodge piercing is pretty nice though, I will say that.
Yeah. And obviously but like, here's the thing, like Grave Robber, Throne Dagger needs, a combo to crit. With a chance, by the way, not even guaranteed. Meanwhile, take aim exists.
Yeah.
Using a combo to apply a vuln is not worth it. What would you do it then? What would you make it apply then? Because like I'm seeing, like, make Pistol Shot apply in vuln and not use a combo, then you just create a vuln generator.
Yeah, you create a stronger double cross. And, even though double cross removes... Oh, it doesn't even remove block. It's just self-block. So, yeah. It's just better double cross.
With the vuln, you effectively remove it as well, so... If it sticks.
I think it'll be fine that way. The cool mechanic of Dismiss, when alternating between range and melee attacks, gave him a buff of some sort. That sounds like a good rogue idea. And for a lot of the things, more damage. If there's more damage in the game, I want it to come from like a synergy. I don't want it to just be like... Because Sharp Shot and Ravager are 2 of the best paths in the game. Why? Because they're just unconditional bonus damage. I just don't want things to get easy access to bonus damage. Because the game's already damage oriented. I'd rather other playstyles have a chance to thrive, so... The thinking there. And I don't know if you're ready to move on to Duelist.
I think so.
Okay.
We can discuss Pistol Shot later together.
Yeah, I mean, if we need to go back, we can. But Duelist Advance, I actually think it's fine. The only thing I wish it would do is show you somehow that Highwayman reposting gives enemies combo. Because it's not listed here. So it's something you just kind of discover while playing.
Yeah. And another thing that I would also change is because the repost from Highwayman and Man-at-Arms is the same damage range. Like, they're both the same damage range. I wouldn't mind seeing one of them either make Man-at-Arms' repost have a different effect, like maybe giving himself block, for example. Although that might be a bit too strong, with Retribution being a thing. Or just make the... just increase the damage for one of them, so that they're not just the same thing, except Highwayman's is better because it applies combo.
Yep. I don't know.
That's all I would change.
Highwayman was higher than Man-Arms in DD1, right? I think so. I want to hope so. And I know Thick's been talking about the small damage number in terms of like balancing, and this is definitely a good example of it. Since I do appreciate that the numbers are smaller, because ultimately I don't think it's a huge difference. It's just like the visual impact for the player. Like, do you want to hit someone for 10,000 damage? I don't really care. But in terms of balancing, it is easier to balance larger numbers. That's why Black Reliquary went to like double digits for a lot of stuff, or double speed, for example.
Yeah.
Otherwise, take aim, or not take aim. Freudian slip, Duelist advance, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I would also keep it. Just change the repost itself, just so that they're different from Man-at-Arms list, except Highwayman is better.
Yeah, fair. Tracking shot. This got buffed. I don't remember when. I don't think it was 1.0. I think it was sometime in the middle of like early access. But honestly, I think this move is really cool right now. It's not something you have on all the time. Right. It's only there to mainly punish dodge heavy enemies, and it does really well in like the sprawl and what's the other one? The sluice. It does very good in both those spots. But other than that, it's okay if it's not a move you have to have on at all times, in my opinion.
Like the thing is, I'm not entirely even sure how I would make this move buffed in a way that makes it so that you're like, damn, tracking really fits into this. Because it just feels like there's no real way of doing it other than you make it, other than you just buff it so much that it might become a bit too good. Because my initial idea was just make this do a tiny bit of damage, like 1 to 2 damage on both mastery and unmastered. So you could ping, def armor. But even then, it's like,
Yeah, I totally agree. That's the direction I went to. That's like the first instinct, I feel like, is, if it did 1 damage, 2 damage to trigger, block, and death armor and stuff, would be nice. To make it too good, it might. One idea in the chat that sounds really cool is if it removed guard. Like guard isn't super common, but like, as the game gets developed, more enemies, rebalancing stuff like that, if guard becomes more present, then it becomes better. So I kind of like that idea too, but I'm not really sure what to do with this because it does what it needs to, and it's not overpowered.
Yeah, like you could argue like, make this move ignore taunt, but even if you here's the thing, like even if you do make it ignore taunt, like what does that achieve for you? Especially in Act 3 when the ultra buff just stacks taunt on everybody. Like, what does ignoring it with 1 character only get you? Nothing, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I hate the wrong thing, but yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if we don't have any other buff ideas, I think we have to get to the big one.
Yeah, I have an idea in mind for taking.
Okay, so I think it's pretty much universal consensus that this move is insane. It does too much.
Yeah.
It's too easy to get insane value out of. If you gave this to all the characters in the game, it would become every single character would love to have this move. It's either removing the blind so you can hit stuff, the crit for damage. Healers like the crit tokens. Dodge is free defense, a speed token. Like, even on a healer, people won't think this is good on healers. Going first and having a guaranteed crit heal on a healer would be nuts. So there's no character that this is not good on.
Yeah. Well,
Dreamborn Muse just resubscribed
I guess
for 5
if you
months.
I did
Give
talk
Leopard
extremes,
AK.
so
Also
one extreme
high.
against me would be like,
Well, if the healer goes first and they're on death door, they die.
but it's like, that's just the risk with any speed token, so I guess you could argue that. But honestly, with my issue with this move is the fact that you can hit this basically every turn that you need to, which is before you shoot something or hit something, with minimal downside. Actually, no, with no downside. There's nothing stopping you from just hitting this every other turn on unupgraded, and then every 3 turns when upgraded. My idea for this was legitimately just make the remove the cooldown from it, but make it so that it removes that you require to have blind on you, and then for each blind token you remove, you gain a crit and dodge token. I think that would be perfectly normal or perfectly fine.
Yeah, that could be good. Honestly, I didn't think about that. I was thinking something a bit more linear, but I do like that idea because blind is common, but not like all the time. And then being able to have a trigger to use it instead of just hitting it every other turn or whatever would also be good. And even then, though, being able to get 2 crit, 2 dodge, and spending a turn to do it, that still sounds really good. So I don't even, it would be a slight nerf. I don't even think it would be like a huge nerf though. So I think people that really like this move and think it should stay, I hope they can get behind something like that.
Honestly, like I don't even think that like it's not even you know I don't think it would even be that bad if you just made it like, because think about it, like during cultist fights, cherubs can spam just blind on everybody. Blood Bond blinds you in cultist fights, so there's another time where you can hit that. Like misses the mark, head in sand. I believe it's soft as well that gives you blind. Like a lot of quirks give you blind.
Yeah, because I know Chibi said that few enemies generate blind. There are a lot of other effects that do. There are quirks, there are diseases that generate blind, and I think even at one point, like torch modifiers applied blind or something like that. So it's not
Like,
as uncommon as people think.
This would be extremely good again in cultist fights because there's a lot of blind there. Librarian as well, because Librarian gives you 2 blind and gives itself 1 dodge. So you hit this, you turned those 2 blind into 2 crit and 2 dodge. Like I genuinely don't think it would be even that bad of a move. Like Soviet Snake is saying, says like, so take aim would be bad and very bad in most situations. Like we're not trying like that's the point that we're trying to argue. We're showing that take aim is right now in its current state is extremely good in every situation. There is not a single bad situation for take aim in this game.
And also, I think too is that like the only move not every move should be something that is on every character at all times. Like it's okay to have niche skills that you don't always run. And I think take aim could fall into that category. Like the only moves that should be universal on the majority of characters if they have access to them is like a standard attack, so like Wicked Slice and a heal. Otherwise, everything else I don't mind if it's so much what is it? Got derailed. But yeah, so it's tough to balance this one without like overhauling it entirely,
Like there isn't a lot of blinding cultists. There is. Blood Bond blinds the first 2 ranks, and cherubs can blind the 2 back ranks. The Sprawl, Flaming Lasso blinds you. Then you have another attack that hits the front 2, and that also blinds you.
The Shamans have eyes closed. Librarian has blind. In the Shroud, you get blinded by the fog. Like when you go to Creature Dens, the spiders blind you. Like blind is all over the place. It's all over the place.
Like people want to assume that
Well, you usually only get blinded from quirks.
like no, you don't. Believe it or not, I think genuinely blind is one of the most common negative tokens that hit you.
Honestly, I would say it's that or like Vuln. I feel like those 2 come up a lot.
And even during FF, like FF blinds you as well with suppress.
Yeah, it's fine, Chibi. But people were saying like, oh well, what is it? Like, what if you resist the blind? Then you don't get blinded. Then you can attack. You don't have to press this move. Like that's a benefit in itself.
Blood Bond has a 25% chance to blind, and Cherub have 1 turn cooldown on their blind move. So what? Like,
Yeah.
what's the argument? Is the argument that they will never blind you? Is that the argument you're trying to make?
I don't know. But the other thing too is it opens up some other interesting interesting ideas like Cruel Intent, Highwayman, what? You know, stuff like that. That would be fun.
That could be actually. That could. Yeah. Now that you mentioned, that would be super fun. That'd be pretty poggers. Although I guess you'd just be you'd get blinded. You hit take aim and then you get blinded again on the next round. So I guess
yeah,
it could be an all or nothing Highwayman playstyle.
Alright, here's what you do. You use the Shambler pet and use Cruel Intent, and then you get Goat and Gargoyle. So if you resist the blind, then you know you're golden. If you use Take Aim and get blinded again, maybe they become Strength. Right? Look at that.
Oh my god, that's so
perfectly
smart.
balanced. All I have to do is use this character in this team, get these trinkets from these regions, and then by the time I reach the mountain, I'll be a god. I hate it.
Still, I think that's a perfectly fine fix, quote unquote fix to the move, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm honestly not quite sure outside of something like that. What if Take Aim removes blind and gives one execute or on range moves? That'd be cool. Not sure how necessarily that'd be like super powerful or too good or whatever. Hello, cat. But the other thing I was thinking with Take Aim, like if you didn't want to overhaul it, you know, like Ranger's doing, which I don't even think is a big overhaul, but like the things I had listed were just give it a bigger cooldown, like 2 turns, no dodge at base, and then 1 crit on mastery. Just make the mastery give you like the dodge, you know, just slow this move down so it's not an every other turn ability, and I'd be relatively okay with it.
That is also another way you could go about it, yeah.
I mean, even then you might have to tweak some of those specifics.
They nerfed this move by removing the 1 dodge on mastery instead of removing the 1 crit.
Yeah, it's really the 2 crit that's problematic. And the speed. It doesn't even need speed, man. Just take that out too.
Yeah. Like, why? Also, Snake is saying, I would make it so Take Aim would make Dismiss act like a daze instead of speed. So what? You hit Take Aim, you daze yourself now. And if you have the 2 crit, guess what? Now you have Highwayman going last, so you get Highwayman shooting twice in a row, back to back, because you're running Sharp Shot. What else would you be running?
I think it gets into the bigger thing about like nerfing paths or whatever.
Obviously, that's just a path issue, but
yeah,
like what I'm trying to argue in the extremes.
I get it.
Anyway, we need to move on. We've spent way too long on this.
Yeah, I knew a couple moves would be the would really be like 10-minute discussions. This was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
PBS. I think it's fine.
I think PBS is fine. I did have one mega huge hot take for this move, which is that I would honestly make this move stun on mastery, just base.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Like that, it's a very hot take. I understand.
Yeah.
Because
it covered so far the first 2 characters.
I'm referring to like front mortar especially.
Yeah.
Obviously,
that
like
move.
I think, like I've obviously I'm now taking into consideration enemies and trying to merge it into heroes. No, but like. Yeah, it's just something that I had in mind. I think maybe on an updated Sharp Shot, perhaps you could daze on base and then stun on mastery.
Definitely something I'd have to, as a game tester, I would have to run that through the ringer.
Like on its own, I think it's fine.
It's Grapeshot, honestly, okay. I mean, it's not super strong, but I mean, even look at this compared to freaking flashing daggers. It just hits harder. Just straight up hits harder. Does it have more crit too? Oh my! It's got the same crit. Why? Why, man? Different ranks, of course, but like, why?
Well, it hits different ranks, Shuffle.
Obviously, the funny part is that this used to hit the first 3 ranks, so...
Yeah, but in DD1, the accuracy was absolute trash, so it was...
Yeah, in this case,
it was more balanced.
So.
Make it inflict vuln.
I would make
maybe with
Grapeshot
the
inflict
path or
vuln.
something. I don't know.
That would be a bit too strong in my opinion.
We'll see.
Because essentially, I mean, that's essentially what Sharp Shot already does. It gives you strength.
For like every hit, yeah.
So like, I wouldn't do that. But on the same vein, I'm not sure how you could. You could technically. I guess you could do the same thing that Flashing had, which is make it hit twice. But you could also technically make it like increase the damage just a minuscule amount, and for each make it hit like the first 3 ranks, and for each rank that it hits, it does a tiny bit less damage to each rank.
Oh yeah, because some people probably don't know this, but in DD1 we had that with the Baron. His full party attack would do less damage the further back it hits. So like, you know, your frontliner would get hit for like 8, then the next person for like 5 or 6, then like 4, and then 2, something like that. So I could definitely do something like that for the. Some enemies and bosses have that, maybe. Not sure. I don't know the specifics for some of the enemies in this game, which I should, but there's a lot of little subtle things like I didn't know Cardinal gave a debuff resist until they changed it in a patch note. You know, that was weird. During Rep RT, yeah. Open Vein, I think is.
Okay.
I honestly think it's okay. Like I know it's worse than Cision. It's just straight up worse than Cision, but
It's actually even it's actually, believe it or not, it is actually the second worst single target bleed move without the combo.
I believe it, but I think that another interesting change to give it would be like minus speed, because that's what it did in the first game. It was minus speed when you hit the target plus the bleed, stuff like that. So. Because right now it's competing against Wicked Slice, and Wicked Slice just blows this away currently.
Yeah. Like you could, I guess technically you could make it like maybe it's like up the bleed base like to 3 and 4 on mastery, and then instead of the double bleed on target or double bleed on combo, you make it like daze the enemy, for example, or give them 2 weaken, something like that, you know.
Yeah, I like the negative token ideas. I also I like the minus healing received idea. That would be cool to have, because like Soviet said, there was a point in early access where Hellion had that on combo. It was for like 2 weeks. It was not a long time. But with how some of the healing works in this game, like worship, altar regen, I'm sure there's others like the corpse stuff being eaten. Like there are a lot of very, very, very strong heals, and it would be cool to be able to plan ahead and mitigate that before it happens.
Yeah.
All right. Any other changes? Like this move's okay. It just needs a little something else.
Needs a little boost. You know?
Yeah. All right. Double tap. In its current state, I would take the execute off. Or
like just for the off the mastery.
Yeah, or give it like our impromptu flashing change where it does less damage but hits twice.
That also could work, yeah. Because I mean, it is a double tap, and you can even see 2 bullets in the art.
I know. Double tap,
course.
by the way, shoots once.
So the funniest part is that if you look at the damage range, Wicked Slice and double tap are the exact same damages. The only difference is that double tap on mastery also gets like the extra damage, and the enemy is like below. Actually, no, this does even just base. Okay, so it in a way, if you in a vacuum, if you just get rid of if you ignore the crit chance, double tap is just straight up better because you deal more damage to enemies with low HP already.
Yeah, this is a boss killer for sure. Grapeshot makes it better, obviously, but we're not talking about Paz. Yes. Yeah. Up dirt. But yeah. Even with like the 5 crit, like you're saying, I think this is already very strong. Like it's consistently high damage, and you know, take aim exists. Like Highwayman, the crit chances for Highwayman don't matter because take aim exists as it is right now. Like I don't know the crit chance on most of his moves because I don't care, because take aim happens. So, you know, if take aim gets nerfed, stuff changes, yeah, then maybe we can talk about upping the crit on this. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Like once you hitting for like with the damage boost, you're hitting from like 11 damage to like on mastery with the 30% extra damage. You're hitting for like 11 to like what? 11 to 12? No, wait, no, that's too much. It's
Like 8 to
12 is the high
8 to
end.
12 or
8 to 12. Which already just blows most normal damages out the water anyway.
Yeah, I mean, bro, so many characters would kill for 8 to 12. Like that's freaking bounty hunter damage, you know, on collect bounty and stuff.
Yeah,
Let's
it's very
execute.
consistent. The execute, I mean, I'm not sure if I would get rid of the execute. I understand like your position as to why, because it just chews through damage, or chews through HP so fast that the execute is kind of just overkill on it.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it anyway, though, simply because like you're shooting a rank, this can hit rank 3. Meanwhile, Wicked Slice can only hit rank 1 and 2, but usually what you're hitting is 2 anyway, because it might be like a size 2 character in the middle. So So maybe. Honestly, I wouldn't even be opposed too much to the idea of getting rid of the execution.
Then Soviet also mentioned, like, what if we ignored take aim? Honestly, it may not sound like it. For most of this discussion with Highwayman, I am ignoring take aim. I'm pretending we're in a world where take aim doesn't exist, and some of the moves are still overtuned, or they're okay. You know, like, regardless of take aim, even though it does get the bonus stun chance, I don't want it to stun at all. I think Duelist Advance is fine as is. And, you know, Wicked Slice has very high base crit, so maybe that needs to come down. You know, PBS has really good damage, and 15 crit's pretty good, so it's like, you know, it's already fine as is. Like, I'm trying my best to ignore take aim, but I still have to address it when it comes up. And, yes, double tap almost obsoletes Wicked Slice on its own, which is why I was talking about the minus execute. That's me. Now, my favorite skill on this character is Highway Robbery. And the only change I would give it is it's a melee, it's like Glint in terms of the targeting, where Glint's a range attack with melee targeting and Robbery's a melee attack with range targeting. So I'd rather, you know, take it out of rank 4 usage and then let him use it in 1, and like that's all I do.
Honestly, yeah. Like I have zero issues with this move. I think this move is completely fine.
Yeah. Steal orange tokens? No. No. Be too good. Alright. Double cross is honestly fine. Like it doesn't it's a support move. Like Highwayman has some utility in this game where he didn't really in the first game, so you know, if regardless of what iteration of pistol shot we have, you know, it's a control tool at the moment. Tracking shot utility helps the team. Robbery utility helps the team. Double cross also falls into it. So even though it doesn't remove all of the block on use, it does damage. So it takes off 1 block or 1 dodge or whatever.
I guess one thing you could do is that, like, you could make it something that what the occultist curses have, which is that it first removes block and then it applies the bomb. Or you could keep it as it is right now, and on mastery make it so that they cannot gain block.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. Is repost? Oh, repost on combo got brought back. Was that is that a thing? I can't even remember.
Oh right, I believe in like early access, if you use pistol shot on a combo target, you gain 1 repost. If I remember correctly.
No, why doesn't that come back? That's cool. It effectively cycles combo too, because you get the repost, then you repost, then you have a chance of comboing them again.
Yeah.
But that, if there are no other changes, I think Highwayman's done right now.
40-minute discussion on one character.
Look. Alright, moving on. Man at Arms. Best character in the
God.
game to many.
I just realized that now we're on to Man at Arms, huh?
Yeah, this part of it is gonna be stacked.
Yeah.
Like it. Oops. Since these are the like this is one of the best characters in the game. Yeah. I messed up something on my side, so if you want to talk about Crush, go ahead.
So Crush, I think honestly the biggest issue with Crush is just the fact that with strategic withdrawal, Highwayman can set himself up infinitely into just staying alive forever.
Yeah, like when people talk
And
about, sorry,
and it's not even like, an issue in and of itself. That's like I think it's fine. It's more so just that this is one of the only moves in the game that can apply combo pretty much always, obviously with a cooldown. But then for some insane reason, while he's on death's door, he just like he gets speed at bait, and then he heals himself for third of his HP, gets block plus, and then also combos the target with one move.
yeah.
So and when you combine all of that, you combo the target, you heal yourself, then you hit the combo target, and you just heal yourself for 53% of your HP.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people talk about like the Crush healing, and sure, it could take a nerf or get a different effect or something like that, but I don't think enough people really understand how insane it is to hit withdrawal and then Crush after, like Ranger was saying, because you're guaranteed to go first, and then you're at half HP with a block token. This move goes from like an unassuming little combo move to like giving Man at Arms the ability to no joke solo encounters between these two moves. It is absolutely nuts, and it's not. I don't know. I don't want to change really the damage. I don't want to change too much about Crush. I actually think Crush is almost okay. Maybe a different combo effect or lower healing or something like that. But,
I guess what you could do is like make it have no combo effect, but just make it remove all block. That is one thing that's
or ignore
been,
block, yeah. Just kind of like pick.
Yeah, that's been a suggestion since like early access, I think.
Okay. Crush healing seems fine. I think it's okay, but like his whole thing is like Man Arms, he's just bloated in terms of what he's capable of. It's like
or if you wanna make this character a tank even more, make it so that it's not a heal 10% when target combo, but make it instead that you gain block and taunt on combo if you want to go that route, or just taunt.
He used to get block on combo, and they swapped it.
Access.
But yeah. Otherwise, Crush, little tweaks. Probably it's just the combo effect, in my opinion, to something else.
Damage is fine, the ranking is fine, but the healing can be extremely overtuned sometimes.
Yeah. A lot of self heals in a game with limited healing. True. All right, Rampart. Probably one of the most, like, between this and Pistol Shot, this is actually a pretty solid way to stun units.
It is.
So it's, I honestly don't think I would change this, or maybe even up the crit on Mastery, but that's it.
I would honestly, same thing that I did with Disoblast, just make it so that it stuns when target combo at base.
Well, then what would the upgrade be? Just damage?
Well, that's the thing. I guess technically you could make it knockback 2 if you really want to go that route.
Yeah, I mean knockback 1 sometimes isn't really that important. Like knockback 1 for a lot of enemies doesn't change too much. But knockback 2 would. Sending a rank 2 to rank 4, like a bandit, where they have to use Wild Swing or whatever, that could be cool.
And also you push them out of position to set up combo into the finishing blow, since they can't hit finishing blow from 3.
Yes, that's okay. Make Rampart heal 20% on combo too? No. Damn. Alright. We're getting to... Now we're going to get to really some of the broken moves this character has. The first is Defender. This move is absolutely busted.
It is.
My initial idea is at Mastery, it only gives 2 guard, and it always has a 2-turn cooldown. Because right now, you can just literally hit this every turn, and it's super good, or you alternate it between Retribution, and it's insane.
Yeah, it's like this move is just busted.
Why? It's
So,
too efficient.
honestly, like this, it's the same issue. It's honestly just very similar issue to Plague Grenade. It's just too efficient because you can spam it.
Yeah.
And you can just essentially keep Man-at-Arms alive forever with Block Plus.
The only 3 guard move in the game. Yeah, he's got 3 guard alongside taunt, tons of block, a lot of health. You know, like he doesn't need all of that. At least in my opinion.
Like why does every other guard in this game have a cooldown, but this one doesn't?
Yeah, it just seems like it slipped through the cracks. Like if you wanted to have no cooldown on it, then no cooldown and 3 guard, then don't give it block plus on master. Or like give 1 block plus and then 1 regular. But even then, that sounds really good.
But even then, that doesn't really fix the issue that it's just too efficient because you can still spam it, so you can just give yourself Block Plus infinitely still. Honestly, the simplest way to fix this would just be make it a cooldown so that you can just spam this every turn.
Pretty much. Like 2 or 3 guard, debatable, but I think it needs like a 2-turn cooldown minimum. I mean, if you got nothing else, we'll talk about Bolster.
Let's move on to Bolster.
Okay. So this one's a bit tricky to balance because, you know, you're healing stress off people. And I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. But what I was thinking is, since thresholds are pure ass, it will always heal 1 stress, but when it's mastered, the threshold is like 3 stress instead of 5. So if you want to make sure people are topped off and you want to sink those turns in, you can. But yeah, that's it. Because it still effectively gets you down to a good amount. And also, you have more chances to remove tokens.
Yeah, but I think the biggest issue with it is the fact that you're not even effectively, quote-unquote, wasting your turn healing yourself and other people, because you still get the block and block plus. So I guess you could argue that removing that could also be, you know, so there's actually some sort of risk into using this skill. Because right now, there is basically no risk to hit this. You can hit this whenever, because Man-at-Arms will get block anyway, so, you know, even if he doesn't get hit, who cares, right?
Yeah. Another thing I'm seeing is it shouldn't heal his own stress. I'd be fine with that.
Like, the stress thresholds in this game, that's been an issue since day 1, and they've just refused to, you know, like the 4 stress threshold is so annoying to play around, and yet it's still just in the game.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing that threshold go lower so that it's actually, you know, worth hitting.
Yeah, the other thing too is it just doesn't it doesn't feel like it makes sense. Like the stress threshold was created back when Ounce of Prevention stress healed the party, Bolster stress healed the party with no threshold. Though that needed to change, but we got the changes and the threshold at the same time. And even that's getting power creeped out, because if you see Flagellant can stress heal whenever the hell he wants, and sure, he takes his own stress, but then you have the other really strong individual stress heals that can clean him up when he hits 5.
Legit, like if you mix Man-at-Arms with Flagellant can just spam Endure while Man-at-Arms spams Bolster on him, and you can essentially remove all stress from your party. And if you're running Scourge, you don't even need to remove the stress from Flagellant. You can just let him melt down.
Yeah, especially on those boss fights. But there are a lot of ideas for this, so this one was tricky to think about. So like you could, you know, like Chibi said, make it always heal 2 stress at base, so it's not a mastery sync at the start of the game. Like sure, and then change some other stuff. So I guess any viewers, if you guys have ideas for Bolster, throw them below, and let us see it, because this one is tricky for sure.
It is.
Let's see. Hold the line. This move is low key super good, and like I don't think anyone realizes that. Like not enough people.
It gives you block. It moves you all the way to the front line, you know, rank 1. It locks you in that place. So you can't even get moved back out of it. Doesn't have a cooldown anyway, so why would it need a cooldown or something? And then on upgrade, you can also stun something. Just for extra measure, you can stun on combo for no real reason.
I know, it goes from no combo interaction to a free stun. Like, geez, Louise.
Like, why? I don't understand.
Yeah, a few people saying they always have hold the line on. Same, honestly, just for that random ambush modifier or whatever. It's too good. You know, he's already got a kit. Between the 3 main tanks, you know, him, Hellion, Leper, Man-at-Arms already has a kit that he can use in most spots. So he doesn't struggle with rank as hard as the other 2. But he's also got the best move to get him back to 1. And it just shouldn't be, you know. So in terms of changing it, you know, if you want to change it from, because like Hellion has toe to toe and she goes forward 1 and then immobilize, but like for this move specifically, if you don't want to do anything like forward, if you want to keep the forward 3, I would say lower its damage, lower its crit, change the stun on or combo to just daze, and then no immobilize. Like, if you have to spam this move every single turn, it's actually not even that bad, because you're still getting blocked.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there are other ideas, but this definitely goes in line with one of the main things we've been talking about, like move efficiency. This move does too many things for how easy it is to hit, and you have access to it and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe make it give negative tokens on MMA. It already does. It gives you immobilize. That's a negative token.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to him having a move to fix his position. It's totally cool. Totally fine. You know, not only does it fix his position, but it enables like dance teams and stuff. But the issue is that he can go from 4 to 1 and then anchor himself there with no cooldown. Just in case the immobilize, you know, already wasn't good enough. You know, you can, if for some reason, like you run up to rank 1, immobilize yourself, Plague Doctor uses indiscriminate science, then you're ready to hold the line again. Yeah. The only time immobilize is a negative token is when the enemy applies it to you. Like when they pull your backliner up and then root them. Like that's it. But if you're inflicting it on yourself, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like the Whipper stuff.
Yes. Alright. Bellow, I actually wouldn't change this move. I think it's totally fine. It's not something you run all the time, but removing repost and crit, those are 2 of the hardest tokens to get rid of, since they have no inverse. So just being able to rip all those off is very nice to have.
I guess you could argue that you could also, like, you could keep the remove, the repost, and just lower the speed penalty to like -2 and then -4 or maybe even -3 on mastery.
Yeah,
but honestly, I wouldn't even be too opposed to keeping it like this, simply because the enemies are already so fast that at least this can slow them down to your level.
Yeah. This is our answer to hastened ordained enemies. Just run Bellow. Lamau. You know, that fixes it. They're not a problem. I always run Bellow. It always hits. It always sticks to the debuff. Lamau. Remove dodge. It already removes dodge when you use it.
Just use Bellow in that collector fight where the Highwayman has 8 speed base for some insane reason.
Yeah. Boom. All right. We got no other chains for Bellow. We're gonna get to Retribution.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. This is simple fix. This is something Ilva's talked about, but I'd honestly get get rid of the taunt. And I'll back up why that is, but I'm wondering what you're thinking about that.
I think I know what you're going for. I would honestly not be opposed to removing it. I would still maybe keep one taunt on mastery though, just one. Like just remove it from the base, but have one taunt in on the mastery, so you can at least control a tiny bit. Of course, the taunt doesn't matter if you're fighting Deacon and he just hits Lamau, Weight of Worlds, and hits your entire party for 2 stress. But different discussion.
Exactly. This is more something too that when we just talk to people in the community and stuff, like taunt is there are a lot of ideas on how to balance it. Like taunt itself is an insane token. Like I could make an entire video talking about how broken taunt is, but the reason I want it removed from Man-at-Arms specifically is that it just adds another thing to his toolbox that he already has too many tools, you know. I'd rather Flagellant, Hellion, Leper be like the taunt characters, and then Man-at-Arms is just the guard tank. I'd be okay with that, which is why I wanted to get rid of taunt. One taunt on upgrade, possibly, but I definitely don't think it should have it, at least at base, for sure, just because it's too easy. It's too easy to redirect enemy turns to him and just disrupt stuff.
Yeah.
Cooldown on a move you don't want to use twice in a row. Oh no, when it had no cooldown, this is all you would hit. Don't get it twisted. You would hit this every single turn because it was that good. It'd be like, I spend 1 turn to get 2 attacks, 2 block, remove tokens and stuff. Yeah, good.
Yeah, this wasn't a take game situation. Back when Retribution had no cooldown, if you look at any of Shuffle's older videos, you will see the only thing he hits the Retribution Plus. I'll call you out a little bit there.
That's fine. I mean, it's super good. I do like that he has repost. I think that's thematic for the character, which maybe I should stop using that word, but the taunt, the taunt makes sense for him too. It's just that he has so many other things that he doesn't need the taunt.
Legit. Honestly, plus you could interact with taunt anyway. You can taunt on one character and then use defender on the other character, so you can actually, you can do stuff, you can interact like that. You're still redirecting damage to the tank.
Yeah, it's not like he wouldn't have access to do it. It's just you'd have to think on how to set it up. You'd have to understand how the enemies act and what they're capable of and stuff like that. So it'd be like, this enemy does a lot of damage to rank 3 or 1 or something like that. So I'm gonna defender that and then retribution after. What about one taunt? I don't know. I don't want any taunt, but I'd be open to like 1. 2 turn cooldown, I don't think it's quite enough. Even with the double taunt, like you'd hit it every 2 turns. Like it went from something you hit every single turn, then they gave it a 1 turn cooldown, you hit it every other turn. So if it had 2 turn cooldown, you'd hit it every 2. Like you would never not have this move up. Command. Wow.
So, command at base is basically just a better emboldening vapors, because it also removes the blind. And then on upgrade, it gets rid of the cooldown, and that's it. I honestly don't like the I get what it's going for. It's it wants you to it removes the blind on a character that you can choose, so that they can then attack backwards. Although what I wouldn't even mind seeing this be. This might be a bit stupid, but like I kind of want this to be no cooldown but usable, like on a unit that has blind, similar to what Take Aim was, and then have that have a different effect. Although I'm not sure what that effect would be.
I mean, it could be something like that. I do agree with like the cooldown removal, but I would, like, as a mastery point, just removing cooldown doesn't feel great. So I do something like give it a chance for crit, like 15%, and then remove weak, so the strength sticks. But other than
That's
that,
also
I'm not sure where else to go with it.
Make it remove stun and daze. That's what we did for emboldening vapors.
Which command buff would change depending on the path? That'd be amazing. I would love that. I hate winning. This move sucks. I'm trying to make it better. What do you mean I hate winning?
Like, you're like putting a mastery point into this. You're better off just putting the point into emboldening vapors, because then at least you have speed.
Vanguard command could give her post. It would be nice. I think the issue with that is that I think the unit has to be coded to have a riposte, and not every unit is coded that way. So they have to like go through everyone and give them riposte animation.
Although I'm pretty sure that's something they intended, because the files have a book of parries which gives you riposte, but it's never used. It has a sprite, coding in the Excel sheets, everything, but it's just never used.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even see that in early access, so it might have been just like an initial idea that they just said, nah, never mind. Alright, well, I guess that's
their experiments on Sussurbark took priority.
Always that Sussurbark, man. Always. Alright, Standfast is... I think I would lower the initial block to 1 and then give it combo removal at base. It's hard because this move's not like overpoweringly strong, but it's very good.
It is, especially on upgrade. Because on upgrade, this is basically a better withstand if you think about it.
Yeah, honestly.
So, like, I wouldn't, I think I get what you're going for. Like, make it so that you're basically just, you don't have to like hit Retribution or Defender or something to generate block, and just have passive block stacked on top of you. I mean, I don't even think it would be too bad like that.
Yeah, for sure. I was busy getting one guy by chat, I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's fine.
Alright. Well, is there anything else with Standfast?
Honestly, this just shows that I never press this button, because I genuinely have no idea how I would make it better.
Honestly, it's something like, depending on the team, I might upgrade it in the 3rd region for Exemplar. And that's about it. Although, it could be good with Collector now, since there's so much combo in that fight.
True.
But Collector's
I have
not guaranteed.
my own opinions on Collector, but that's a completely different discussion.
Yeah. Okay. So next we come to the strongest move in the entire game, which every single DD2 player unanimously has agreed to not run it because it would break the game. So no one runs it.
Yeah. Whenever I open up the game and I pick Mananos on my team, I have to physically restrain my hand from clicking this button and putting it on my skill bar, just because it's super strong.
Exactly. Some modders are going in to make it do 0 damage.
This move is fucking garbage.
It's absolute trash.
I will say though, it's way too much setup for no reward.
Yeah, it's the reason it is a lot of setup, because being able to find, like, you'd have to like stagger your mastery in such a way that you're able to give yourself block and block plus, and then you have to spend 2 turns getting it ready, or use someone like, I don't know, Vestal or an item to give you the block or whatever. There are a lot of ways that you would have to go to get this set up. And then you do all that, and like, what's your reward? You hit for like an extra, you triple the damage or whatever, and then you vuln yourself and take all of your block off. Like, and you can only hit the first person. Like
Yeah,
bleed
it's
out
the
does
same
more
issue
damage than
Bleed Out
this.
has.
It's crazy.
Like the rank is too limited. The setup is way too much for basically nothing. You're then rolling yourself after you hit it, so it's not even good for that.
The other thing too is like, you know, you're spending these 2 turns setting up on someone that wants to get hit, by the way. So you have to like exclude all of your really good premium tank moves to make sure this works. And in between then, the enemy might get dodged, the enemy might blind you, you know? It's like what do you end up doing? So I think the main thing that holds it back is the ranking. So I'd rather it's like instead of 1 to 1, it's like 1 and 2 to 1 and 2. So it hits like all the front line. Like that could be okay. Yeah. And then make it so it just doesn't vuln you. Like it's already taken off all your block. But just make it so you don't get punished. You're already getting punished for taking turns to set this up, and then it punishes you after.
Like the only time this move actually does something is if you're called a thick veiny sausage and you know how to play better than everybody else. That's the only time you can actually get this move to work. I'm convinced.
That is true. Need some ideas. 100% damage when low health? Maybe. Nice to have double cross instead of this? Maybe, honestly. Like,
that actually might even be better.
Yeah. I know, double cross. A move that is underwhelming is better than this. What does that say?
It's mostly just because the rest of Man-at-Arms kit is way better than this. That's also, you know, a reason.
Yeah, that's the other reason this move never gets used. Is like, you have 10 other moves that are fantastic. How'd you make it better? We're trying to figure that out. Just make it easier to use, better payoff, less punishing.
I guess you could just make it 100% damage per positive token, but like, then you just end up with a damage nuke into the front line.
Yeah.
Like it's so like it's just, you know, I literally don't know. I literally have no idea how to fix this. I have absolutely no clue what I would do with this.
Yeah, I get the idea. Like you're trying to scale with block, but in practice it doesn't work out. So either it needs a ton of buffs or just remake it like from the ground up.
Yeah, this has to just be a completely different move. Like this just doesn't work right now. It's a cool idea, but for this game it doesn't work.
Yes. The position 1 corpses boss, true. All right. We got withdrawal, and this at base is totally fine. Honestly, totally fine at base. The upgrade, maybe it doesn't need the heal. I don't know. It's so loaded.
That's honestly exactly my idea as well. Like either make it just remove it entirely, or make the healing like 5% instead of
just to get off death's door.
Yeah, like I don't like. Why does it have to be 33%? I don't understand.
For Man-at-Arms, most of the time 33% is like 22 HP. That's a lot.
Yeah, like honestly, I would take 1%. I would take 1% heal.
Yeah, I mean, even if it didn't heal, you know, if it just gave you 1 HP to get off death's door and a dot ticked you down, you could use your speed token to pass. You know.
Yeah.
It's just it's so good, and people don't use it because all the other moves are really good too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, are we done with?
Oh yeah, there you have it. Man-at-Arms.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you'd change for strategic?
I mean, all the other stuff is past stuff, but we're not doing past, so we're gonna get ready for Hellion. And
Hellion has a couple of issues.
Yeah, I'm gonna take another break, so I'll be back in a couple minutes again. Thanks for watching, as always.